Hey all, how you going? As the title card says there, a bit of an update on the Ranger and apologies. I apologise for not having much content on lately. I think I've actually got a couple of subscribers in that period too, so I really appreciate that. Yeah, obviously life, as I've said before, gets in the way. Late last year, my wife and I made the decision to sell our home where we were living, about an hour west of Brisbane, and we purchased another one near Warwick in Queensland. So we basically downsized. I've come off sort of 2.5 acres onto half an acre and downsized in-house and sort of ground size as well. A little bit easier for me to maintain because I'm getting old and sore. But yeah, anyway. So that's why the background looks a little bit different. So I'm in the spare bedroom now, so I've got heaps of space. It's an older house and the rooms are massive. The bedrooms are massive, so I've got plenty of room to set myself up and all that sort of stuff. Of course, I brought the Ranger with me. It's been going great guns. There's a little thing wrong, which is the point of this video, but it's been going great guns. Not a drop of oil, nothing's fallen out of it, and I've let it run over the service to 188,000. You should not do that. Don't do that. Don't let your diesel run over service, man. That's very bad for him. But with all the moving and stuffing around and all that sort of stuff, she basically hauled a load from where we were living up to storage in Toowoomba, which was about 45 minutes to get to the storage unit, and then storage unit from Toowoomba down to near Warwick where we're living. We don't live in Warwick, we're out in the country, but it was getting a bit much where we were living. It was quite hot, so my wife and I having a bit of trouble sort of looking after it in the heat and things like that, so we moved up into the mountains. Anyway, it was a good decision. So, as I said, the Ranger came. So, it went really well. There is one small point. So everything's fine. Transmission's getting a little bit clunky coming out of first, especially with the load on. I noticed it a lot when I was doing the towing with my trailer that you've seen in a couple of my other videos, the silver trailer. And she's getting a little bit clunky coming out of first, so she's probably going to need a transmission service. I've actually got her booked in for a service in 2 weeks, so yes, I have run way over, so you shouldn't do that. Now, this is where it gets interesting. The front right passenger light, the driver's side headlight blew. Or what I thought blew. So as all of us do, pop off into Supercheap, grab yourself a couple of lights. My Ranger takes the H4s, you know, the old school ones. It doesn't have the H11s, the new ones. So yeah, get a pair of H4s, caliber ones, super wide or whatever, about $69 I think they were. Jace, in his infinite wisdom, decides to take the battery out because I couldn't be bothered stuffing around in that little space that you've got between the battery and the passenger side headlight. Anyway, so I undo the battery, lift the battery out, hit the positive lead with the battery as I come out, with the positive post of the battery, of course, so it all goes and sparks a bit. Anyway, that didn't seem to cause any dramas. So when I bought the car, it's in another video, when I bought it, it had a light bar on the front of it. I don't think that was installed by ARB. I think they took their ARB lights off and just put a generic light bar on there, or something like that, because inside is all ARB relays and wiring. It's all branded ARB and all that sort of stuff. So when I got my King's lights, which you've seen in the video, I just plugged straight into that wiring. When you get the King's kit, they give you these little extension Deutsch plug things with just a positive negative on the end. So I just tapped into the ARB wiring. So what ARB did is they made a custom little fitting for the back of the passenger side headlight. So I took the battery out, sparked, of course, because I'm an idiot and I could barely lift the bloody thing getting it out. Anyway, sparked on the positive lead, and then I got a hold of this little custom plastic mounting sort of holder that they had for the wires that they've put in between, you know, their wiring in the back of your headlight, in between the factory wiring, their wiring in the back of the headlight. Anyway, as I go to pull it out, it just disintegrates. I've got another video I'm going to splice in here, taking it outside, and I'll go on about it a bit more. But it just disintegrated, and I'm ended up with 3 wires. 2 wires into one, and then 2 other wires. And I'm like, which way do these go? I thought I'd stuffed it. Anyway, we got there in the end. So, changes all the batteries out. Struggles the battery back in. Took that stupid little clothy cover thing off, because I couldn't be... Anyway, it was annoying. I almost swore then it was fucking annoying. Anyway, trying to get the battery in with that cover on it. Anyway, so I just pissed that off. So we got it back in. I just did up the main nut on the positive, battery holder terminal. Just the main nut. Everything else was just sort of finger tight. So I jump in the car to check the lights out. Turn it on to accessory. Everything lights up. The dashboard lights up. Your parkers come up. All that sort of stuff. Go to turn it. Nothing. Dead. Not even a click. Accessory and then nothing. And then I'm like, what the hell have I done? I've just totally stuffed my car. Like I buggered it when I hit that positive lead. Anyway, so we get back out, have a look, and then I think, oh, maybe I should tighten up these other ones on the positive terminal. The negative was tight, just these other nuts on the positive terminal. Tighten them up, got back in the car, boom, started straight up. Oh, you beauty, righto, excellent, my headlights are done. Turn my headlights on, driver's side still no low beam, brand new globes. So, off we go to Dr. Google, and it turns out that the BCM in the Rangers sort of controls some of the voltage or something like that. All the forum posts I was seeing said, oh, you're going to have to take it and get it reset, and the only people that can do it are Ford and blah blah. Anyway, so a couple of them said, I'll leave your negative post off overnight. I tried that, didn't work, still have no driver's side low beam. I have high beam on the driver's side, low beam on the passenger side, high beam on the passenger side, and my spotties work once I figured out how to get those wires back in. Anyway, I took a quick video outside this afternoon with my GoPro. I'm using a bit of new technology, so I've got myself a new camera. Well, when I say new, I bought it from Cashies, but it's a 4K video camera. And then I got just a GoPro Hero 3 Silver from Cashies again, and I'm using this OBS thing because as you've seen in other videos, my son streams, and I'm thinking about getting into that. I don't know, but you can do like fancy stuff like these transitions, and then you can't see me, and then you can see me again, and all that sort of stuff. Anyway, so I'm going to put the GoPro video in. You'll see what I'm talking about, and then we'll finish up. Yeah, as I said inside, I just wanted to bring you outside to have a look and just show you the engine bay. So that's where my relay is. It's actually fallen off now. So I've got to get that bloody screwed back in because I dropped the screw down in the engine somewhere. But this is those three wires. Now, I don't know if you're going to be able to see them. They're just down in there. I'll stick you in there. There you go. It's those wires in there. They were held on by that little plastic thing that ARB put in there. And then, yeah, as I said, as I pulled it out, it just disintegrated. So basically what's happening, everything's fine. The fuse is fine. So I'll show you the front of the car. So my passenger side headlight works on low beam. My driver's side headlight doesn't work on low beam. When I turn high beam on, high beam works on this, spotties come on, high beam works on that. So I don't know what's going on. It looks like it is going to have to be the BCM reset. So I'll update you once it's been done, and we'll see how we're going. I would kick the car over and show you, but every time I kick it over, it interrupts the bloody audio signal. It can really throw it out if I stand too close to the car, so it must be something to do with this cheap mic that I'm using. But anyway, that's basically it. Yeah, so driver's side headlight low beam isn't working. Every other bloody thing else is. Anyway, we'll see how we go. We'll finish up. Yeah, fun and games as always with used cars. But anyway, never mind. We got there in the end, but it's still not working. As I said, I got it booked in for service in a couple of weeks. And they're going to try. They've got a snap-on tool. I'm just going to a local bloke. It's Southern Downs Mechanical in Warwick. So when I say local, it's actually an ex-old dealership. So it's a massive mechanical place. So he's got a snap-on tool, scan tool. So he's going to try that. He said sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And I rang Ford anyway, and they've quoted me 110, so labour plus GST, 100 plus GST, to put the scan tool on, clear the codes, and see if it works. I did check, you saw in the GoPro the relay. I've put a new relay in, checked the fuses, all the wiring seems fine. It's just, I think it's thrown this little BCM error. So anyway, we'll see how we go. And like I said in the GoPro, once I get it all sorted, I'll update you. So I just thought I'd quickly mention, because we've got Anzac Day coming up. In the background there, so I've made a little bit of a background so you can see, all this fancy stuff. That's all my stuff. That's me as a young man, and in my better days. The bottom photo, that one there, I'm doing this reverse, that one there, that's actually us in Somalia. And then the other ones above it, that's my platoon, that's the battalion when we got back from Somalia, that's my platoon, that's me and my wife, a couple of certificates and a few plaques and blah-de-blah. And then this is also me. Okay, that's me at about 17, maybe 18. Looks cool. I'm like in an urban warfare environment. We used to have a 25-metre range at the back of Laverick Barracks, and probably not there anymore. But it looks real cool. I am firing live rounds, though. It is a range practice, but it looks like there's an urban background and all that sort of stuff. So it's pretty cool, but it's not really. I'm just at the range shooting. But yeah, it was with an SLR that dates me. So that was probably, God blimey, 91, something like that, 90, 91. No, it would have been earlier than that, 89. Yeah, anyway. So I'm wearing my 20th anniversary of Somalia shirt, which we made back in 2013. So it's got like, I'll show you anyway. It's got like, 1st Battalion Group, Opsola Somalia, 1993 to 2013. Southern Cross, of course. And then on the back's a big painting with a Black Hawk on it and these towers we used to do Overwatch in. Anyway, I'll quickly show you. See how it looks. There you go, I can't see. You might notice that our tagline is Never Forgotten. And we feel a sort of close affinity with the Korean War veterans because not a lot of people realise we actually sent 1,000 soldiers to Somalia. And the reason we feel like affinity with the Korean War veterans, you had World War II, Korea, and then you had Vietnam. So the Korean guys sort of get forgotten about. They're in that sort of period between World War II and Vietnam. With us, we were the 1st Infantry Battalion deployed since the end of the Vietnam War. So if you can imagine, we ended our commitment in Vietnam in about 1972, around there. And then the next time a full infantry battalion was deployed, basically on a warlike footing, was in 1993, and that was us. As I've said many times, I know on my channel, I really like to do a separate video on Somalia and sort of get into that, and I want to get a bit more content running now that I've got my sort of own space, and it's, I can do a bit of fiddling around and stuff like that. Well, not fiddling around, that's probably the wrong thing to say. So on Sunday, if you see someone with medals on, go up and say thank you for your service, especially if they're wearing them on the left. If they're wearing them on the left, it means they're their own medals. When they wear them on the right, it's generally, fathers, grandfathers, stuff like that. But yeah, when you wear them on the left, they're your own. So if you do see someone with some on, walk up and say thanks for your service. We appreciate it because we're not like the Americans. Not everybody says it to us, and it's a bit of a big deal. We feel very proud of what we did. Anybody who's been in the Defence Force, they're very proud of their service and things like that, even if they didn't serve overseas. Also, I'd like to ask you to spare a thought for those that are still in uniform. Those that are overseas away from their families, and those of us that aren't in uniform anymore but are still suffering from their service. So I will do my usual sign-off. I hope you have a great long weekend. Get out to the dawn service, get out and watch a parade wherever you are, just head on out. You got your day off Monday, so it's alright. You can have a few on the Sunday night. Well, most places have got the day off. I know in Queensland we have. So I'm heading into Brizzy for the big march, because it's back to normal for us. Excellent. So my usual sign-off is the motto of the Royal Australian Regiment, which is duty first. So we will do that. Thanks very much for watching. Thanks to the couple of subscribers that I've got. I really do appreciate it. This is just a small channel, so, and remember, as always, duty first.